My mom criticized my fiancé and said she wouldn't be a good wife and mother. Does my family have to apologize for disrespecting my fiancé? Story 1. I'm a 29-year-old male. A few weeks ago I got engaged to my fiancée Julia. I love her very much and 100% sure she's the one I want to marry. I've always been close to my mom, but sadly, Julia has never been her cup of tea. Julia is very career-oriented and cannot cook or decorate to save her life. My mom, on the other hand, prides herself on being a great cook and having the house perfect. In the past, she's expressed concern that Julia and I are too different, and she won't be a dedicated wife and mother. I've always thought these criticisms were unfair and continued to pursue the relationship. We went to my family's house for Thanksgiving this year, and usually, my mom prepares everything herself. Strangely, when Julia called and asked if we could bring anything, she asked if Julia could do the turkey. As I mentioned, Julia has very little cooking experience, and told my mom she was worried about ruining the meal. My mom told her she should just try and that she'd have to learn to cook at some point. Julia was stressed about making the turkey, and also has been extraordinarily busy with work. Instead of cooking, we decided to pick up turkey from Whole Foods. Julia was excited that she could contribute and also didn't have the stress of ruining the meal. When we got to the house, my mom asked Julia how she prepared the turkey. Julia said sheepishly that she'd purchased it from Whole Foods. My mom was furious. She said she trusted Julia to make the turkey, and said that she prides herself on serving a home-cooked meal to her guests. Julia apologized and said she just wanted to make sure the family had something enjoyable, and that the turkey we bought would be better than anything she tried cooking. My mom spent the next hour pouring and whispering to her sisters. I pulled her to the side and asked if everything was okay. My mom said she asked Julia to make the turkey, and she couldn't even be bothered to try. She said this showed a lack of respect, and also an unwillingness to grow up. My mom proceeded to tell me that she doesn't think Julia is the one for me, and is worried about her ability to care for herself and our children. I was fuming. I told my mom that Julia is amazing, and her lack of cooking skills is not an issue for me in the slightest. I said that if my mom couldn't respect my fiancé, I didn't want to spend the holiday with them. My mom said my fiancé is the one who doesn't know how to respect others, and I'm delusional if I can't see that. I ended up taking the turkey and telling Julia we were leaving. We drove across town and enjoyed a wonderful night with her family. Julia and I are both devastated, but I've assured her that this is my mom's issue and not hers. About half an hour ago, I got a call from my sister. She said we ruined Thanksgiving by leaving and also taking the turkey. I said I didn't realize they'd want the turkey since my mom was so critical. My sister insisted it was a misunderstanding and that cooking means a lot to our mom because it's how she expresses love. She interpreted the lack of effort as Julia not making an effort to bond and assimilate with the family. My sister is asking me to apologize, but I feel we're the ones who are owed an apology. I'll also note that my mom has never once asked me to make the turkey, and it seems like a double standard that she suddenly expects Julia to do it. It also seems like she's trying to turn my wife into someone she's not. Aita. Relevant comments. Commenter. My in-laws started to complain to my husband shortly after we were married about the things I didn't do or didn't do the way they wanted me to. He told them not to make him choose between his wife and them, because they wouldn't be happy with the choice he made. OP needs to tell his mother the same thing. Yeah, I need to have a come to Jesus talk with my family at this point. She 100% set Julia up to fail. She has an issue that she doesn't cook, so when she offers to help your mother gives her the most difficult and the most important cooking task for Thanksgiving dinner? She was expecting Julia to bring something inedible so she could laugh and reinforce her point to you that a wife who can't cook is not good for you. Julia found the loophole where she could not cook but still contribute, and therefore proved that in 2024, a woman does not need to cook if she doesn't like it. And your mom is spinning this insulted narrative and changing the goalposts after the fact, so Julia still looks like the bad guy. Please don't subject her to that again. You said what I was thinking. I agree. And I think the family was more concerned about the turkey leaving. And I'd be willing to bet that even if Julia cooked the turkey, your mom would have criticized it. I bet if you passed the turkey off as her cooking, mom would have found reasons to hate it. She doesn't want you with Julia. Is this a theme for all your relationships or just Julia? Mom was anticipating an inedible turkey. When Julia and OP left with the store-bought turkey and ruined Thanksgiving, I half wondered why Mom didn't produce the turkey she made in anticipation of the inedible stuff she assumed Julia was going to bring. Mom is diabolical. Definitely needs some counseling for self-reflection, and how to navigate relationships because relationships are not something she can control and manipulate as though others don't have any emotions, boundaries or experiences different from her expectations. Yeah, this insane psycho thinking from the mom ruined the holidays for everyone. Make your son's fiancé feel like shit to reinforce your narrative commenter. There was definitely a backup turkey. Sis just chose not to tell OP, probably because mom told her not to so there would be more guilt. It is also possible that Sis was in on the plan, but that is not clear. Producing her backup turkey would have taken the sting out of OP and Julia being terrible people for taking away their cheat turkey. You know, there was a backup turkey in the second fridge. It was probably store-bought as well to serve as a consolation meal in front of Julia's inedible homemade one. Oh, sorry you all couldn't have my usual wonderful homemade turkey. But now she couldn't pull out the store-bought one because it would prove her hypocrisy. The mom is mad she lost the game. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yeah. I feel like it was either, as you say, to criticize it heavily, or even mock Julia's efforts if she cooked one badly. Or even if Julia did a good job cooking the turkey, for mom to install herself in the role of providing guidance and advice about what she did wrong, and turn it into a lesson from her on how to properly cook turkey. The mom might be one of those women who can only relate to younger women if she can take them under her wing, i.e., if they are always obedient and in awe of her. That's probably the type of relationship she wants. Only this time, it's mom that looks bad. Because she played stupid games. Won stupid prizes. I'm sorry your mother has put you in such a stressful place. Stick to what you know is right. And let your mom know she just permanently damaged the chances of her and Julia ever having any kind of a meaningful relationship. And that if she can't support your relationship with Julia, she can expect to not be a part of your life anymore. Yeah, I think this sort of conversation needs to be had, and letting her know how stressful it's been for OP, since she obviously doesn't care about Julia's feelings, is important. She has to know that her son knows she did this on purpose to be cruel, and that it will have long-term impacts on her relationship with her son, and therefore potentially any grandchildren. She's going to try really hard to pretend it wasn't intentional, but OP can't let her get away with that. She's probably not ever going to be a good MIL, but she could at least be a less stressful one. When you have your talk, you need to make it crystal clear that not only will you hold them directly responsible for the quality of the relationship they have with Julia, but the quality of their relationship with Julia will have a direct impact on your relationship with them. If they won't respect her, you need to let them know that you are unafraid to torch your relationship with them, and it will be 100% their doing. You need to tell her bluntly that she'll never meet your kids because you won't have someone in their lives that undermines and demeans their mother, out of spite. NTA. It sounds like your mom is really on a power trip and can't stand that your fiancé has replaced her in your life. OP. I agree. It's crazy because she's been so nice my whole life, but seeing how she's treated my fiancé has really changed my view of her. Sadly, your mom set up Julia. She knew she'd struggle with that turkey, but that's why she asked her to make it so she could have this moment of making her feel less than. If you know, folks can't cook, you never have them cook the centerpiece of the entire meal. Good for you for standing up for Julia. Unfortunately, you will be doing this for the rest of your life, with your mom. NTA. Yeah, it wasn't even a test, it was a trap, and the mother would have decided she failed no matter what. Even if she had done an amazing first turkey, then mom would have been all, "See, I'm right, women should stay home is innate," and still used it to critique your fiancé's life choices. It was 100% a trap. If Julia had actually cooked the turkey, even if it had been amazing, there's no way this woman wouldn't have found something to complain about it. Nobody who's not an idiot sets the main dish of a big meal to a newbie cook who doesn't want to do it unless they're setting them up for failure. She started quizzing Julia on how she prepared the turkey because she was shocked. She turned up with a turkey that looked good. Also, the sister is also an idiot if she couldn't see that her mother was setting up her brother's fiancé for failure. It can be hard to argue with your mother if she's on a tear, but calling up your brother and insisting his fiancé apologizes is agreeing with your mother. Story 2. AITA for refusing to let my roommate's boyfriend live with us after he tested me. I, 19-year-old female, live with my roommate, let's call her Ashley, 20-year-old female, in a small 2-bedroom apartment. We've been friends since high school and decided to split rent when we both started college. Things were fine at first, but then she started dating Jake, 22-year-old male. At first he was over just a couple of nights a week, which I didn't mind. But over the past few months, he's basically moved in, eating our food, using our stuff, and not contributing a single dime to rent or bills. I finally had enough and told Ashley that Jake either needed to start paying his share or stop practically living here. She apologized and said she'd talk to him. I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward to last week. I was getting ready to head out to a late-night study group when Jake cornered me in the kitchen. He told me he wanted to test me to see if I'd be a good person to live with full-time. I was confused and asked what he meant. He said that if I wanted him to pay rent, I had to prove I was roommate material by showing I could handle sharing the space with someone like him. He then gave me a list of rules he'd want me to follow if he officially moved in, things like doing my share of the cooking, even though I already make my own meals. Not bringing any guys over. I'm single, but why is that even relevant? And being respectful of his gaming time, by keeping the Wi-Fi free during his streams. I laughed in his face and told him there was no way he was moving in. He got pissed and told Ashley I was being unreasonable. She confronted me and said Jake was just testing the waters, and that I should have been more open to the idea. She accused me of being jealous because I'm single and suggested I was trying to sabotage their relationship. Now she's saying if I can't be supportive, then maybe she should get a new roommate, one who respects her relationship. I think this is completely insane, but Ashley and a couple of her friends are siding with Jake. They're calling me selfish and controlling. Ata for refusing to let him move in after his ridiculous test? Relevant comments. Commenter, NTA. Jake's behavior is a major red flag. His test shows controlling tendencies and lack of respect for boundaries. The apartment is yours and Ashley's. He has no right to set rules or test you. His demands about cooking, visitors and Wi-Fi usage are completely inappropriate. Your original request was reasonable. Either he pays rent or stops living there rent-free. Most leases have guest policies limiting overnight stays. Ashley is being manipulated here. Jake moved in without permission, uses resources without contributing, and now tries to establish dominance by setting rules in an apartment where he doesn't even pay rent. Stand firm on your boundaries. Document everything. Check your lease about guest policies. Consider talking to your landlord if this continues. Remember, you signed a lease with Ashley, not Jake. His attempt to test you is just a power play to establish control over your shared living space. OP. Thank you for the advice. I will start to document everything from now on. Any other advice I should do as well? Commenter. If you don't already have one, put a lock on your bedroom door. I agree with this. The whole no guys over thing was quite the concerning red flag for me. Say you quite like the no guys rule and bar him from the apartment. He can't be abusive if there is another guy there to stop it. Especially if they are interested in OP, they could be more likely to stand up for her. Yeah, seems like he thinks he can get a three-way in the future. Or just cheat on his girlfriend with her. There is no other reason to say this, and by his own test, he should have never been hanging around her house in the first place. He wants to be the man of the house, and not have more competent men over to outshine him. So got any toddlers you can babysit? Yes, this. Tell Ashley that her boyfriend's rule about you not being allowed male friends is concerning, and ask her if she too thinks Jake should be allowed to say she can't have male friends, and then ask her if Jake has a thing for her because you're not sure how you feel about that. Put it all on her to control her problem. A lot of people overlook this one, but if any dude tries to get you to cook for him, he's trying to get his gender norm foot in the door. Doing her share of the cooking jumped out at me. You stuck to the original plan and contract. She brought in this guy, a new housemate, without consulting with you. She allowed him to use your resources as well as hers. She has cost you money. She is enabling you to be bullied in your own home. She has broken both the legal and social contact. She is no longer your friend. She is his doormat. Speak to your landlord, like others have said. Ask them if they'd be open to you renting the place without Ashley and you bringing in another housemate. With you as lead tenant, if that exists in your area. They can both move out. It might involve being a bit sneaky. Might be able to break the lease and immediately start a new one in your name. I can almost guarantee that the second life with the housemate gets real. Having to find a new apartment, moving house, paying rent and food, like an adult human. This guy is going to dump your housemate. Because hobosexuals only want to control, not earn, their source of support. When that happens, do not let her back in. She does not have your back. Stop talking about your plans with others, especially those who tell you you're overreacting. When everything is settled, ask them if you can come to their house, eat their food, use their utilities, Control when they can use their Wi-Fi, and have them pay for it. When they say no, ask why they think it's okay for you but not for them. Good luck. Commenter. Bring lots of guys to the apartment, even if just friends. Make sure he is at the apartment when you do. Haha. All jokes aside, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Maybe buy your own food and lock it away so the douchebag doesn't steal it. Look for new friends. As a man, I'd be horrified if my daughter was in your situation. He's trying to establish dominance over 2 women in their own home. Not allowing you to have men over is him claiming you too. It sounds as though he's been watching too many alpha videos. Move out, but be there for your friend when he moves on to phase 2 and she sees the real person he's trying to be. Anyone who says this is okay is deluded. So, he thinks he can come in as third wheel and start making demands and stupid rules? Sounds like he's not the roommate material. Tell Ashley that if he's paying 1/3, that doesn't mean he gets priority. How dare he make demands when he's an equal partner in expenses? Especially for gaming, for crying out loud. OP. Yeah, he gets really emotional when it comes to his gaming time. NTA. Go to your landlord and explain the situation if Jake continues to live there. He will be forced to pay rent or leave. Also, remove your name from any utilities. If you pay for the Wi-Fi, change the password and they can buy their own Wi-Fi. NTA. What a prat. Why does she like a prat so much? BTW, do you have any male friends you trust enough to invite over and sleep in your room? I would be doing this a lot. OP. I sadly don't have many friends, and after I start to realize this situation more clearly, I'm not sure if I have any time to make new friends then. Join a club. Meet new people who have similar interests. If you drop her, you're free to find people who actually care about you. There's plenty out there. Story 3. Eta for sunbathing topless when I said I was going to sunbathe topless? I, 36-year-old female, and my husband, 42-year-old male, go away for 2 weeks every November to my parents' villa in Tenerife. We normally go with 4 of his friends. This has been happening every year for the past 5 years with my husband and his friends, but I've gone there every year since I was 18 in November, as a last bit of heat and top up my tan before winter hits. Whenever I go on holiday I always sunbathe topless, and this is no different. Anytime we are outside I'm topless, sunbathing, swimming in the pool, eating outside. It just feels natural, as this place feels like home to me. My husband and his friends don't care, as they've known from the start how it is. This year one of his friends couldn't make it, so one of his other friends asked if he could bring his girlfriend Rose. They've been together about 6 months and I've met her a few times. She seems nice, so I said yes. I messaged Rose privately and said I'm glad she's coming along, and it'll be nice to have another woman there, and I told her that unless we leave the villa, I tend to spend the whole time topless, as I love the warmth and the seclusion. She said that's fine, and she sunbathes topless too. Great. First couple of days she was topless when sunbathing or swimming too, but would get dressed for food or playing board games or sitting around the outside fire. Then on the 4th or 5th day she stopped sunbathing topless, which is fine. Her choice, obviously. She also became a bit cold towards me, and then the second week she didn't talk to me at all, and it was obvious she was actively avoiding me. I didn't want to ruin her holiday, so I left it. But when we got back I messaged her and asked if I did something wrong. She said she got tired of me flaunting myself and showing off. I said I wasn't showing off. I was sitting around the whole time with no makeup on, and my hair pulled back in a ponytail. She said I loved the men ogling me. I replied she was topless too, and she said, I was, but you could have warned me, you'd literally be topless the whole time. I couldn't keep up. This was feeling stupid now, so I told her I'd already said, when we are at the villa, I'll be topless, as it doesn't seem worth it to keep taking a top on and off. The only time I put one on was if we were sitting inside on the furniture. She just replied with K, which wound me up, lol. I've told my husband and he said next year I shouldn't go topless if it upsets her. I said she won't be coming next year or I'll be going alone. I'm not being disrespected at my own family's holiday home. It's been no problem for the last few years. Am I the asshole? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. She was warned about what to expect. And you don't get invited back when you call the hostess an attention-seeking slut. I'd bet cold hard cash something happened between her and her boyfriend behind the scenes. Someone probably got caught getting stared at, or staring too long, and jealousy ensued. Nothing to do with OP. Don't bring budding couples in juvenile relationships on small group outings. They can't keep their drama to themselves. It could also be that OP has better boobs than Rose, or at least that's how Rose feels, and it made her deeply insecure. The whole, "I couldn't keep up" statement seems to confirm this. This was so weird. Like, girl, nobody said you had to? Commenter. That feels more like she was competing for attention rather than jealous of her boobs. Sounds like she wasn't comfortable topless but felt like it was some game to see how many men they could get attention from, and she lost, so she is acting like a sore loser. I wondered if that specific statement was a cool girl thing. Like, if you assume everything women do is for the sake of men, as Rose seemed to, then having your top off starts to look like, "I'm so cool, men can ogle me as much as they like." Swing and the coolest girl clocks up the most time. To be fair, I think part of this is that some people assume clothing is too normal to go without outside of specific scenarios. So if they hear, "I go topless to sunbathe and probably won't put on a shirt unless we leave the house," they interpret it as, "I will be topless when outside and swimming to get sun," and assume clothing will come on once there isn't a reason to be naked. That assumption is 100% on them, but it can cause dissonance when it's challenged. Like, personally, I will wear whatever the minimum amount of clothing is at any given time, weather and social norms aside. Home alone? Naked. With a partner who doesn't care? Naked. Outside in summer? Minimum clothing allowed in whatever space I'm in, be that just shorts or shorts and a t-shirt or whatever. And I am not shy about that fact, yet friends are always surprised if they're in my neighborhood and ask to stop by when I mention needing to throw something on. "It's 2 p.m. Did you just wake up?" "No, just haven't been outside today so I didn't bother." Commenter. Based on her statements, nah, she was the one competing. She was the one staring and jealous. Now she may have been insecurely worrying about that, but given her attitude, it would only have to have happened in her head rather than reality. And I would bet the conversation started with, "Do you think she has nice tits?" to her boyfriend. You know, there is no answer the boyfriend could possibly have that would have been correct. That, or he brought it up a few too many times. "Babe, can you believe her? Wow, can't believe she went topless the entire time." "What? Last year and the year before?" Babe. I don't really look like that. Your tits are great too." To be fair, they did keep it to themselves. The lady seemed colder according to OP, but that's about it. She didn't go out of her way to demand she wear a shirt. She didn't even reach out after OP did. Obviously, she still implied negative things about OP and shouldn't be judging the hosts for behaviors they were even warned for. But still, they kept whatever drama happened mostly to themselves other than when asked about it. You're right. You're not the asshole. You warned her. She knew what to expect. It's her problem if she's uncomfortable with it. She's being ridiculous. You're not going to change your behavior just because she's uncomfortable. It's your family's villa. You can do whatever you want. You're not obligated to cater to her insecurities. You're not the one who's being disrespectful. She's the one who's being rude and dismissive. You're not going to let her ruin your holiday. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to be topless. You're going to be happy. You're going to be free. NTA wonder if her BF may have made a remark about enjoying you being topless, which made her insecure about herself. Immediately came to mind, where did the sudden insecurity come from? Probably her partner. Doesn't have to be her partner. OP could just be very beautiful and she knows she's not on the same level. We're human. We have eyes and can tell when someone outclasses us looks wise. I feel like if that was the case, it'd probably have been an immediate reaction, rather than a slow shift after a few days. Might be that she kept seeing her partner and/or the other guys admiring OP and got bitter. Especially if they weren't looking at her the same way. If only out of respect or worry for her or her partner's reaction. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.